What if I told you that the smartest home you can build in 2026 has 0 stairs, 0 wasted hallways, and costs less than most people spend on pickup truck? People are calling it the forever tiny home. And right now, builders across rural America are putting them up for under $50,000. I'm talking about a single-level barndominium, 1 floor, no stairs, open concept, built on steel, and designed so that whether you're 35 or 75, this home works for your body, your budget, and your life. But here's what the internet is not telling you, and I'm going to fix that today with honest 2026 numbers. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you the single biggest money trap that kills most Barndo budgets, and most people don't discover it until it's too late. So stay with me. Before we get into it, if you're new here, this is Affordable Tiny Homes, where we give you real numbers, real designs, and 0 hype. Hit subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss a build breakdown. And if you've been thinking about a barndominium for more than 5 minutes, drop a forever in the comments right now. I read every single one. I also want to take a quick second to welcome our newest member, Jeannie Bryant. It's awesome to have you here. If you want to support the channel like Jeannie Bryant and get access to exclusive perks, be sure to check out that join button right below the video. Here's what most tiny home content skips, and it matters. A lot of tiny homes are vertical. Lofts, ladders, steep stairs. And when you're 28 and healthy, that feels cool. But 10 years from now, 15, if your knees change, your back changes, or someone in your household needs mobility support, that loft becomes your enemy. Single-level barnominiums are different. In 2026, they're the #1 choice for buyers who are planning what the housing industry calls forever homes, meaning you build it once, and it works for every stage of your life. Sales data from mybarndomplans.com shows that single-story barnominium plans are their most requested layout in 2026, specifically because they support aging in place, 0 stairs, and accessible design from day one. And they're trending not just with retirees. Young buyers, families, and people building on rural land are all choosing single-level because it costs less to build, heats and cools more efficiently, and scales beautifully on a tight lot. Okay, let's talk about real numbers, because here's where the internet misleads people badly. When you see barndominium under $50,000, that almost always refers to the shell kit, not a move-in ready home. Let me break this down so you know exactly what you're getting. What $50,000 can buy you? In 2026, a 30 by 40 steel shell kit, that's 1,200 square feet, runs between $21,500 and $26,000 for materials alone. Step up to a 30 by 50 at 1,500 square feet, and you're looking at $27,000 to $32,500. These are real, current kit prices from suppliers shipping in 2026. MyBarndomPlans.com currently lists their 2-bedroom red iron kit packages starting at $26,500 and 3-bedroom kits starting at $43,500. Cold-formed steel shell kits for a standard 1,200 square foot footprint are trending between $24,500 and $36,000 in 2026. What the shell kit typically includes: the steel primary frame, secondary framing, pre-painted metal roofing, metal siding panels, and framed openings for doors and windows. Think of it as the bones and skin of your home, delivered to your site as a bolt-together kit. What $50,000 does not include? And here's the part most YouTubers skip. Your shell is only 15 to 25% of what a fully finished barndominium costs. The rest is what's inside. Here is what you will still need a budget for. Foundation. Concrete slab. In 2026, a 1,200 square foot concrete slab foundation, including site preparation and professional labor, averages $11,280 to $14,400. Soil conditions and regional pricing can push that number higher. Plumbing rough-in, $5,640 to $7,200 for a small residential build in 2026. And here's the critical insight. That number barely changes whether your home is 800 or 2,000 square feet. Electrical, rough-in, and panel installation for $1,512 to $5,760 for a small single-level home. Same story. The fixed costs don't shrink much just because the house does. HVAC, standard installation for a single-story layout, is currently averaging $6,768 to $8,640 in 2026. Interior finishes, flooring, drywall, cabinets, countertops, fixtures. This alone can average $68,000 on a mid-range build. Permits and engineering, $3,000 to $10,000 in most markets. Important note, in high regulation states like Washington or California, impact fees and permits for a new build can now exceed $50,000 before construction even begins. Know your county. So what does a fully finished small barndominium actually cost in 2026? Turnkey construction for a mid-range barnominium typically falls between $100 and $150 per square foot. On a 1,200 square foot single-level footprint, a genuinely comfortable 2-bed, 1 or 2 bath home, you're looking at roughly $120,000 to $180,000 all in when hiring a contractor. But, and this is important, if you're an owner-builder in an affordable market like Texas or Tennessee, the lowest realistic finished cost in 2026 is approximately $85 to $95 per square foot. On a 1,200 square foot home, that's $102,000 to $114,000. Still a very different number from the $40,000 kit ads you see on social media. I want to talk about something most Barndo videos completely ignore, and it's the reason I think single level is the smarter long-term move for almost everyone watching this. The term aging in place gets thrown around a lot, but here's what it really means. You build this home once, and it works for your body at 35 and at 75. No remodeling, no moving, no assisted living. You stay. Forever. That's the forever home promise. The 6 advantages of single-level Barndo living. 1. 0 trip hazards. No stairs means no falls. According to the CDC, falls are the leading cause of injury in adults over 65. Designing stairs out of your home from day one is one of the most practical health decisions you can make. 2. Accessible doorways from start. Because barndominiums use steel framing with no load-bearing interior walls, you can easily design doorways 36 inches wide, the universal design standard. Traditional homes with stud framing make this expensive to retrofit later. 3. Open concept naturally suits wheelchairs and walkers. The 5-foot turning radius recommended for accessible spaces is easy to hit in a Barndo's wide-open floor plan, without a single structural change. 4. Easier and cheaper to build. BuildMax and Cedrio both note in their 2026 design guides that single-story layouts simplify construction, reduce roofline complexity, and help keep costs predictable. 5. Energy efficiency. Less square footage to heat and cool. No multi-story HVAC zones to manage. On a well-insulated 1,200 square foot single-level Barndo, your utility bills will thank you every month. 6. Simpler maintenance. Everything you need to reach, gutters, roofline, exterior walls, windows, is closer to ground level. No climbing ladders to a second story. The aging in-place design team at buildmybarndo.com put it well, a retirement barnominium is not about compromise. It is about designing a space that works for you now and in the years to come. And I think that philosophy applies at any age. Let me walk you through what a realistic, well-designed, single-level Barndo build looks like when you're starting with a sub-$50K kit and building smart. The footprint, 30 by 40 or 30 by 50. A 30 by 40 gives you 1,200 square feet. A 30 by 50 gives you 1,500 square feet. A 30 by 40 red iron shell kit currently runs $21,500 to $26,000 for materials alone. A 30 by 50 runs $27,000 to $32,500. Both are genuinely achievable under the $50,000 mark when you're shopping kit materials, before foundation and interior work. At 1,200 square feet, you can fit a spacious open-concept kitchen, dining, and living area, a primary bedroom with an ensuite bathroom, 1 additional bedroom or flex room for a home office or guest space, a utility room with laundry, and a covered entry porch. That is a complete, livable forever home. And because barndominiums have no load-bearing interior walls, the layout is entirely yours to design. Kit selection. What to look for. In 2026, there are 3 main kit types: red iron steel kits, cold formed steel kits, and SIP panel kits. Red iron kits are the most common and often the most affordable entry point. They include structural I-beams, roofing, and siding. Red iron does require cutting and welding on site, so you will want professional help for erection. Cold-formed steel kits include the shell, interior framing, siding, roofing, windows, and exterior doors. CFS panels are pre-labeled and pre-drilled for electrical and plumbing runs, making them much more DIY-friendly for someone with general construction knowledge. For a 1,200 square foot footprint, budget $24,500 to $36,000 for the CFS shell in 2026. SIP kits, structural insulated panels, are becoming the gold standard for tiny barnominiums in 2026. They come with built-in insulation, which drastically reduces the HVAC sizing you need. Since HVAC is one of the biggest costs in any Barndo build, SIPs can actually save you money overall, even though they cost more upfront. Where to build matters enormously. This is not a minor detail. Texas and Tennessee remain the most affordable markets for owner builders in 2026, with finished costs as low as $85 to $95 per square foot when you manage the build yourself. The rural Midwest and Oklahoma runs similarly. The Pacific Coast and Northeast can run $145 to $210 per square foot or higher. And if you're in a high-regulation state like California or Washington, pay close attention here. Impact fees and permits alone can now exceed $50,000 before you pour a single yard of concrete. That is not a typo. Know your county's fee structure before you fall in love with a piece of land. One of the best-kept secrets in building for longevity is this. The design features that make a home truly livable for a lifetime cost almost nothing when you bake them in at the planning stage. They only get expensive when you have to retrofit them later. Here are the design features that every single-level Barndo, forever home, should include. Zero threshold entry. No step at the front door. The slab-on-grade foundation that barnominiums sit on is already perfect for this. It's basically built in. Wide hallways. 36 inches minimum. When you're framing interior walls in an open steel structure, making them wider costs a few extra linear feet of framing. Essentially nothing in the grand budget. Walk-in shower with no lip. A curbless shower costs the same to tile as a traditional one. It looks more modern, it's easier to clean, and it works for everyone at every stage of life. Lever handles instead of round knobs. A lever door handle costs the same as a round knob at most hardware stores. Arthritis-friendly, toddler-friendly, hands full of groceries friendly. Blocking in bathroom walls. When you're framing the bathroom, have your contractor install horizontal blocking in the shower and toilet walls. It costs about $50 in materials. If you ever need grab bars, you can install them anywhere without hunting for studs or hiring a specialist. LVP flooring throughout. Luxury vinyl plank runs $2 to $5 per square foot in materials. Floats over concrete without a subfloor. Is completely waterproof, and is easy underfoot. It's the dominant flooring choice in barnominiums for good reason. Pocket or barn doors in tight spaces. They eliminate the swing clearance of traditional doors, make the space feel bigger, and are easier to operate for everyone. None of these items will blow your budget, but together, they transform a nice little barndo into a home you will never have to leave. If you want to keep a barnominium affordable in 2026, there is one strategy that moves the needle more than anything else: acting as your own general contractor. A general contractor typically charges 15 to 25% of the total project cost just for managing the build. On a $150,000 project, that's $22,500 to $37,500. If you're the GC, meaning you schedule the subs, pull the permits, and manage the timeline, that money stays in your pocket. You don't need to swing a hammer for every task. You hire licensed plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs because you should, both legally and for quality. But you manage the project. You coordinate the timeline. You make the calls. What you can do yourself. Painting. One of the most labor-intensive finished tasks. You can save $3,000 to $8,000 doing this yourself on a 1,200 square foot home. LVP flooring installation. Floating LVP is genuinely DIY friendly. With some prep and patience, you can do this over a weekend and save another $2,000 to $5,000. Insulation. Fiberglass batt insulation in wall and ceiling cavities is beginner-friendly work. You'll still want a professional for spray foam if you go that route. landscaping and grading. Exterior finishing work you can largely handle yourself over time. Cabinet installation. If you're buying stock or semi-custom cabinets, installation is learnable. YouTube has thousands of tutorials. Saves potentially $2,000 to $4,000 in labor. The phase build approach. One of the genuine structural advantages of a barnominium shell, specifically the stud frame construction type, is that you can build in phases. Get the shell up and dried in. Then finish room by room as the budget allows. You're not locked into a fixed timeline. This phased approach means your $50,000 kit budget can launch the project, and smart, patient building over 12 to 24 months gets you to a livable, finished home without a massive construction loan. Barndo Bible notes that an owner-builder on a 2,000 square foot home should plan 12 to 18 months from permit approval to move in. A smaller 1,200 square foot build done in phases by a motivated owner-builder, you can compress that timeline significantly. I told you at the start that I'd reveal the single biggest money trap most Barndo buyers walk into. We're almost there. But first, let me give you the other hidden costs that will sneak up on you if you don't plan for them. Land costs. Rural land can be as little as $5,000 per acre in some Midwestern markets, but suburban or semi-rural land in desirable areas can exceed $50,000 per acre. Land is entirely separate from your kit and build budget. Site preparation. Grading, clearing, and access road work can add $5,000 to $20,000 to your project before a single steel beam goes up. Utility hookup. If your land doesn't already have power, water, and septic in place, running them to the site can cost $10,000 to $30,000 per utility each. Drilling a well alone can be $10,000 to $25,000 depending on depth and soil. Permits and engineering. In most rural counties, the budget is $3,000 to $10,000. In high regulation states like California or Washington, impact fees and permits can top $50,000 before construction begins. Know this number before you commit to land. Material cost fluctuations. In 2026, material costs have stabilized 4 to 8% from 2025 peaks, which is genuinely good news. But labor shortages continue to impact pricing in certain regions. Always get multiple quotes and lock in your pricing where you can. Okay, here it is. The thing that blows most Barndo budgets is not the kit price. It is not even finished. It is the mechanical systems, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC together. Let me give you the verified 2026 numbers. Plumbing rough-in, $5,640 to $7,200. Electrical rough-in and panel, $4,512 to $5,760. HVAC for a single-story layout, $6,768 to $8,640. That is $16,920 to $21,600 just to get utilities running in a basic small home before a single interior wall goes up. And here is the brutal reality. Those costs barely scale down when your building gets smaller. The fixed costs of running rough-in plumbing, pulling a service panel, and installing a mini-split system are almost the same whether your home is 800 square feet or 2,000. This is what smallbarndo.com calls the sticky cost problem. Mechanical costs don't shrink just because the house does. What this means for you, when you budget your build, nail down your mechanical quotes first, before you start choosing countertops. Get 3 bids from licensed plumbers, electricians, and HVAC contractors in your specific area. Those numbers will anchor your entire budget. The good news, on a single level layout, your mechanical runs are simpler. Everything is on one floor. No chasing pipes and wiring between stories. That saves real money compared to a 2-story build. And it is yet another reason single level is the smarter choice for the budget-conscious forever home builder. Before I send you out to start pricing kits, let me give you a quick honest gut check. A single-level barnominium forever home is a great fit if you own or are buying rural or semi-rural land. Zoning for a metal building in suburban areas can be tricky. You are comfortable being your own GC, or you have a trusted contractor relationship. You want a long-term, permanent home, not something you plan to flip in 2 years. Barnominiums hold and grow value in rural markets, but resale in traditional suburban neighborhoods can be slower. You value open space, flexible layouts, and low maintenance over formal room divisions and traditional aesthetics. You are willing to build in phases and be patient. The best Barndo builds are not rushed. It is not the right choice if you're in a high-cost coastal state and expecting to hit a $50,000 all-in budget. The shell? Yes. The finished home? No, not at current 2026 labor and permit rates in those markets. Here's the thing about a forever home. It's not really about square footage. It's not about the steel frame or the open ceiling or the barn doors. It's about building a place that grows with you instead of against you. A place that you never have to leave. Not because you can't, but because you never want to. A single-level barnominium, built smart, built with intention, and built for the long game. That's exactly what this kind of home can be. And if the numbers I gave you today push that dream a little closer to reality, then this video did its job. The shell kit gets you started for under $50,000. The patience, the planning, and the right design decisions get you the rest of the way there. If this video helped you think through your build differently, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who are trying to make smart, affordable housing decisions. And if you want to go deeper, I've got a full video on barndominium floor plans that work for small footprints, and another one on the real cost breakdown of a DIY Barndo build from slab to paint. Both are queued up right here. Go watch them back to back, and you'll walk away with a complete picture. This is Affordable Tiny Homes, and I'll see you in the next one.